Okay, hello YouTube. I tried filming this video, but the robot vacuum started going. Um, we almost have a completely connected house, and it's a great device, but it interrupts when you're trying to film. So we're gonna get back into the Petnet IO feeder, and we're gonna look at the app first, and then we're gonna go and look at the actual feeder itself. Right here we have Jinx. She's the recent addition to the family in that as we combine households, we're introducing the cats. So she adds cat number 4 to the 3 that my partner already has, and so she owned the feeder before we combined households. So that's why her face is on here and her beautiful name. And but we're gonna start talking a little bit about the app. And in the app, it's great. It's very easy to use. It works for both Android and iOS. And the great thing about it is that it shows you with this ring around it how much she's been being fed. It looks like from the look of it, she's gotten a little bit over half. And the reason why that is because now it's 4 cats eating out of the feeder instead of just 1. So normally by this time of day she would be about right here, but because she would just have 1 feeding, and as we go into lunchtime she would get another feeding and it would be around here. She usually just snacks on her food throughout the day, so her bowl stays pretty full, but now that the other cats are eating out of it, it's empty all the time. So that's why it's up there. And then if we look at the previous day, which you can scroll to previous day and the next day, we have a 72% over, and it says she's been fed too much, and it's giving you an X, and it's pink instead of, and that's not just the camera, that's the actual color. It's pink instead of red, I guess, because you know who wants the red color on there to say, oh, alert, something's wrong with your cat. So it's just saying that she's getting fed too much, and the reason why it's like that is, like I said, 4 cats are eating out of it instead of just 1. So there's more feedings throughout the day, and like yesterday we had like six or 7 feedings, and that's because we had to keep pushing the button because the older cat, she likes to eat a lot. So we feed her either through the app or feed her by manually pushing the button when we're actually in there. But if we go back and we look at it, I have 3 feedings set: breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and then we add other feedings. And it'll tell you whether it's a breakfast feed, which is down here. It's just a feeding that you did, and it will actually show you, that it's just a feeding or it's one of your meals that you scheduled. And then if it's grayed out, that means they haven't been fed that feeding. And then right here it tells you how many feedings, how much amount has already been set, and then the amount of calories based on the food that you're feeding them, that they're gaining from eating the food. And then if we go to the next day, you see that you have your normal meals that are automatic, and then you have zeros across the board, and it's all grayed out because none of it's happened yet. And so if we go up here in the right corner, you could do this on your phone. I'm on my new iPad, but I don't know what's going on. Okay, just a minute. Oh, there we go. I got it. First of all, you got to be in the right day. You can't feed them on a day that either just happened or will happen. So you got to be on the right day. And then right here at the top, it gives you an option from the lowest amount, which is 1/16, to the highest amount, which is 1.5 cups. To feed them, and when it feeds them, it measures it in 1/16, so it'll keep going at that amount until it gets to the amount that you choose. And as you can see, I'm scrolling through a lot of numbers because you can feed them many different amounts. And because, like I said, multiple cats are gonna eat out of this one, and then eventually the new one that will come, there'll be 3 feeders, and so they'll pretty much be an equal amount coming out of all 3 feeders, but it'll allow you to control it if you want to give them a little bit more of a snack or stuff like that. But it's much more compact on your phone, of course, but on here it gives you a cancel, and then it gives you a feed, and once you hit feed, I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but the feeder is going crazy because it's filling it up. And it'll show you the little cat running until it's done feeding to that total amount. And I'm sure once we go and look at the feeder, it's going to be ridiculously full. And so we're probably going to empty that out back into the hopper. And then it says, check, your cat was fed way too much. And then already we have a pink circle because she's been fed way over because I chose the highest amount to feed her. Which is not only here, like I said, it's feeding all the cats. The great thing about Petnet also is that they have this, and as you can see, the litter robot just went through and is telling me that the clean cycle is complete. But right here it has messages that you have either when you have failures, when you have your delivery service. It used to do, when I first got the app, it used to actually show you the feedings, but I guess they deactivated that because it was way too many messages. But also, I've heard, and I don't know this for sure because I don't have the other feeder yet, but it also, when you have multiple feeders attached to here, the two feeders talk to each other. Like they tell you, it gives you messages that one animal was fed, why wasn't this animal other fed? I don't know that for sure. Someone else told me that, but I will be going back and reviewing that one when I get the 2.0. But with the 1.0 version for the Petnet Feeder IO, it doesn't give you those messages or anything. It also has compatible apps, which it's compatible with the Nest cameras. And it's also compatible with the Amazon Echo devices, so it allows you to feed them via your voice, which is a great thing when you're laying in bed at 4 in the morning and they come and jump on you and they want to eat and you're not going to get up to push that button. So that's amazing. And then it has smart delivery, which is great out here, but I have signed up for the service and I will start getting my packages as soon as this hopper empties. So what it does is you pick the food, and I'll show you that. But, well, actually, let's go on and go there right now. We're going to go down here to the bottom, and we have meals, we have devices, we have food, we have pet, and we have home. We're going to go to food. And right here, it shows you at the top the food that you've chosen, and you can edit that, and you choose from all the food that's available for cats, for dogs, all the different brands. We're not going to choose a particular brand because we're not advertising a particular brand. We're just going to show you all the brands that are available. But once you choose your food, you can, that food right there will be the way you track it. In the new version, the 2.0 version, the hopper has a sensor in it to show you exactly where the food is. Right now, this 86% is based on the food that falls out. So the amount of cups you have based on where you set the level, you started at 100% or 75%. That's what's left over because of the amount of food you choose for your feedings. So it guesstimates kind of how much food is actually available. And then it tells you the advantages of using this particular food. So when you have your green check marks versus your pink check marks, that means the food is better for those different categories. And of course, when you have food for yourself or your pets, you want to have as many green as possible because that means it's healthier for you. Often it is more expensive, but in that you have better things like weight control and all that kind of stuff for your pets. So for this one that I chose for the smart delivery, and it actually, when you first start the smart delivery, you get 3 bags free, and then it's a certain amount every month to feed to refill and to resend for your pets. And it's certain weights for certain foods or a certain weight for the bag. say you got a 5-pound versus a 10-pound bag are available for delivery. A lot of them have the smaller portions or the smaller weights, like the 5-pound bags available, instead of the 10-pound bags, or vice versa. You just gotta, when you choose your food, it'll show you exactly which one is smart delivery compatible and which one's not. And often, like I said, it's one weight category over the other, and not one food over the other. So not one brand is not going to do smart delivery. All brands do smart deliveries. It's just that certain foods don't get smart delivery. But it does tell you all the ingredients. It tells you their proteins and all the stuff, the percentage of everything that's in the actual food. And like I said, it's it's got extra added sugar, and it's got some artificial coloring in there, but you got all these other greens right here. So it's you pick and choose which ones you want based on what you think your pet needs, or maybe what the vet told you your pet needs. And the great thing about that is that it gives you a picture of not only your level of food, but everything that's available for that food. And it also gives you an approximation of what's left over once you feed your pet. So it's great. It's a snapshot that you get. And it also, you come down here and it also gives you your calorie count that the pet has been eating out of the total that is suggested for your pet to eat, based on that food, based on their age, based on everything. And then I'll go through the pet section so you can see how it's set up for your pet. And you have to manually change. It doesn't automatically change for your pet as they grow or as their activity changes. So you got to manually change that. But based on all that information, the app calculates what they need to eat on a daily basis based on the food you've chosen and their servings, all that kind of stuff. So it's great. You can have as many feedings as you want to. If you just want them to snack all day and do like 1/16 cup all day long and like 6 meals, you could do that. Or you can do really big meals, like 2 meals in one day, or 3 meals, however you want to do it. But you set that yourself. And right here, it actually, if you choose, it actually can show you from here what your pet is, their weight, their average activity. I pick average activity because she was kind of sedentary before she started getting with the other cats. She's way more active now. So I'll probably change that to active. But it tells you she's 2 years old, and she should have about 307 calories a day. And that's just for your pet that you have set on here. And it only does it for one pet. It doesn't allow you to add multiple pets. Maybe that will change when I add the other feeder. But we'll come back and look at that when I do, and if it changes. And also we have the device information. Unfortunately, when I first got this, I had it hooked up all the time, and it does have an internal backup battery. So now I burned out the battery, unfortunately, and so it has to be hooked up all the time. The battery will last for about 5-10 minutes now, when it used to last a couple of hours when I first got it when the power went out, but it only lasts about 5-10 minutes before I have to plug it back in. So if the power goes out, it's supposed to still allow your pet to eat, and I will be contacting them about getting another battery. But for right now, that's where I'm stuck at. Also in this section right here, it allows you to adjust for manual feeding, and you adjust exactly how much you want them to eat, just like you would for your meals. And then when you push the button on the actual device, it allows you to manual feed them that amount. Say if you're in there, and we have our cat corner, so we have our litter robots in there. If I'm changing the litter boxes, adding litter or whatever, and I notice that Chloe, the oldest female cat, she's kind of whining for some food, I can just push the button and manually feed her. And this right here allows you to take the manual feed off. So if you have kids, smaller kids that like to push buttons and like to see shiny lights and push stuff, and they're just feeding the cat like 100 meals a day because of it, you can actually take off the manual feed, so they're not able to do that. It's a great feature. But if we go back to home, of course we got our red circle again, or our pink circle, because I overfed by showing you guys that. But what we're gonna do is we're going to take a pause, and then we are going to go into showing you the actual device itself. And I promise this won't be much longer. I've been rambling, but I just want to get all the information about the device out there. And again, I'm using my new iPad 6th generation. This is not iOS specific like the little robot, which will eventually come out with the Android app, hopefully by the end of this year at the latest, or the beginning of the next year. But it is great using the iPad because admittedly it's a great device, and it allows me to work. This is a Wi-Fi version, so it allows me to work at home and control my devices without burning out my phone battery. So yeah, we're going to take a pause, and we're going to go to the actual device.